What's going on, guys? I'm back. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial video. It's going to have a lot of different things in it, so just stay tuned. A lot of these things are going to help you. The main thing is half flips and how to do them, recovery mechanics, um, optimal button mapping, like what buttons you should use that will help your gameplay quite a bit instead of having to claw. Wave dashing, torque flip, and flip cancels. So for a half flip, it's basically just canceling your flip before you fully flip. So you see I'm back flipping, and I'm doing a full flip. With a half flip, once your car reaches the point where it's underneath is showing upwards, that's when you want to move your stick forward, which will cancel it. It completely cancels the momentum. But once you're like this, what do? That's where having a air roll specific, like a specific direction of air roll bound on your controller is really useful. So right here you see that I have arrow left bound to square, or X for you Xbox controller users. So what that's going to do is let you turn your car whilst you're in midair. Just like that. Now this can go both ways. Just like that. And it's really useful for recovery from a bad play or bad hit, and it lets you keep your momentum instead of having to turn around and use boost, which is essential to have boost so you can get to places faster or save the ball or do whatever you need to do. So a way to practice that is just try and cancel your flips. Just do this over and over. And then once you're ready to incorporate the air roll, you want to do it pretty much as soon as you cancel your flip. So you instantly turn around, so your car doesn't go flying into the ground. For our second tutorial, it is going to be not a tutorial, but more like recommendation. So by now, this is probably the most standard keybinds you'll ever see. I'm pretty sure most people use them, but I do feel that they are super effective, and it's really nice to have. So everything's default, except for a few things. Boost, power slide, air roll, and whatever buttons are left that you want to use for a specific direction of air roll, like I have on my binds, which is square. So what you want to do is change boost to R1 or left bumper if you use Xbox, and power slide on L1 or left bumper if you use Xbox. And then air roll can be whatever direction you want it to be. That can be whatever button that's left over. Before I changed my keybinds, I had X as arrow left and B as arrow right, and vice versa for PlayStation, square for arrow left, and circle for arrow right. But I found that I didn't really use arrow right all that much, and I actually completely forgot that I even had it bound. So I freed that up and used the button that was left over for a different bind. And you can see here I use rear view as my circle because I find it most convenient for me. Though if you are using default controls, you will have to change things around, like scoreboard. I have as left stick down, so it's not I think it's L1 or left bumper as default. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've used default controls. But you're gonna have to change those around and find whatever is comfortable for you. And then power slide. Wait, I think I've already done power slide. I don't remember, but I'm gonna do it again. I have it as left bumper or L1. And then my air roll, where is it? Right there. Also as L1. And the reason why a lot of people use these controls is because you can't, like, these are two very different things that like can't be used simultaneously, because while you're in the air you can't really power slide, so it just frees up a button, which is really good. And I think I've covered everything. So once you change those or not, it's all preference. It'll make it a lot easier to do a half flip. So remember to cancel the flip by pressing forward. Back flip and then you press forward. Though it is possible to do a half flip without having air roll bound, which is the old Cronovi way, and I have kind of forgotten how to do it. And it can be super inconsistent, so that's why I prefer to do it with air roll instead, which makes it a lot more consistent and easier to do in game without having to actually think about what you're doing. So the next thing that I'm going to go over is wave dashing. Wave dashing is an extremely useful mechanic, especially for recoveries and getting back really fast. It's also a good way to like juke out some enemies. You know, you're just chilling like this and then boom. It's a lot of 1v1 players do that, like jump, half flip, not half flip, but wave dash into the ball. It's really hard to read. So, and the thing with wave dashing is that you don't want to use it too much, because it does kind of leave you vulnerable whilst you're in the air. You know, you've all seen Squishy do that. I can't replicate that. But it is a very useful mechanic. All it is, you want to use your air roll, like you see what I'm using right here. In whatever direction you're trying to go, make, oh god, how am I going to explain this? It's a lot easier once you know it. But just like try a certain direction and flip in another direction while holding down power slide, so your car slides and doesn't stick. Because if you don't, it will just instantly grab and you'll move forward. And the point of a wave dash is to either conserve momentum or create momentum. And so if your car instantly sticks, it's kind of useless at that. So the easiest way to learn how to wave dash is to go off the wall like this and just do that. Just do that over and over again. That's something that a lot of players do. That's what I did actually to learn how to learn how to wave dash. And once you get used to it, it'll become like just a normal part of your play. And that's what you really want to try to do, like with all these mechanics, especially in free play. Just go around like I'm doing and just doing everything. Oh wow, I messed that up. Because it's a good way to hardwire those things into your brain, so you do them and don't have to think about them. Because when I like for most people, doing these mechanics is just like something that they do, and it's just become so part of their like routine in free play that it's just second nature, which is what you want to have happen. Like right there, I wave dash. It's a really good way to keep control of the ball too, like off the wall. If you land with it, it gives you pretty much immediate possession. It's really useful in ones, since you're the only person on the field. And it's a good way to conserve boost, because boost is precious. So once you've done that enough times, you'll it'll become second nature, but it will be hard first. Like all these mechanics aren't easy, but they're not super hard. So once you actually learn them, you'll be able to apply them in game, which is why I say that you need to use them in free play a lot. Now the third thing is called a torque flip. Now you have your basic forward flip, your like diagonal flip, but that takes like a lot of momentum out of your flip. So like, see, as I'm boosting there, I actually, oh my, I can't do a diagonal flip there. So like, as you're boosting, your car's like direction changes a lot while boosting, which isn't good for increasing your speed or making momentum. So what you want to do is you're basically doing a side flip, but using air roll. Like, you pull down air roll and just kind of side flip. So that way you can hold down boost and you're still going basically straight, but you're also getting the speed from the flip. So it's a really good way to like instantly become fast, and it's a good way to recover. All of these mechanics and like tips that I'm gonna show you guys is a really good way for it's a really good, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? Like they're really good for recovery and just general like game speed. Because once you learn how to do these things, you'll be a much faster player. And for you low-level players that watch this, it'll be a good way to like increase your game speed and be faster than the people that you go against, and ultimately win the games. Now, I'm not saying that these things are gonna like carry you to grand champ or anything. That takes time and dedication, and a lot more than just wave dashes, half flips, and all that, and forward flips. So when you're learning to do the torque flip, you're basically doing a diagonal flip, like that, but you're learning to keep it like tighter. Like you kind of have to experiment with it, and it's key that you hold down air roll if yours is in a specific direction. So I don't know very many people that use a specific direction air roll all the time, but if you do, you might want to change your binds or make a bind for just air roll, because this will really help you out. So you can see on my controller overlay that I'm holding down air roll. This button right here is my air roll while I'm flipping, and it basically allows my car to not flip how it normally would. Like if you're doing a diagonal flip, which again gets rid of all the unnecessary like flipping and variation that a diagonal flip would give you. Also, sorry for the talking like this. My mouth is really dry. I should probably have gotten some water, but it is what it is. Oh my. So once you can free play, you want to like just drill all of these into your head. Like at maximum, all of these aren't going to take you very long. Like the half flip is relatively simple, and like once you learn how to do it and become more confident with it and use it in game, it'll just become second nature. Same thing with the wave dashing, like off of the wall. That is super useful, and especially helps with challenges off of the wall, because it's like a unexpected burst of speed for lower level players. For high level players, it'll be kind of the norm, so it'll become essential. Like a lot of these will become essential at some point, so it's better to learn them earlier than later. And for the, what is this, fourth tip slash tutorial is a flip cancel. Flip cancels are pretty self-explanatory. While you're flipping, you want to move your stick in the opposite direction of whichever way you are flipping, which is usually a forward flip, especially if you're taking a shot or going off your wall. And these are useful because it can, one, if you need to like stop your forward flip momentum, so you can continue going just like I did. Because how you normally flipped, you wouldn't have been able to boost all the way through, making you just that tad bit slower. And speed is key. The absolute key. And so like, the one thing I will mention about these is if it's not straight back, like if your stick movement isn't completely linear, you will flip. Oh no, what did I just do? Like that. And like that. Like that's not me pressing air roll. It just happens sometimes, so you're gonna have to learn how to like correct that using air roll. And once you get a hang of it, it's very useful, especially in power shots like that, like I just did. It's what I mainly use them for. And when I go off the wall, like that, so I can continue going to the ball if I need to. Oh my gosh, my mouth is so dry. So, after like, flip cancels are pretty similar to half flips, except you're not flipping. Like it's the same idea of canceling the flip, so your card doesn't fully flip. And it adds like a really nice burst of speed to the ball. Just like that. So, in free play, doing all of these consistently and doing them often will really like speed up your learning process. But you don't want to do these excessively in game. You only want to do them a lot in free play to just get them down and get the muscle memory like engraved into you. Because if you're excessively wave dashing and flip canceling, you're going to put yourself in bad positions. You're gonna wave dash past the ball and miss, and it's gonna concede a goal. Stuff like that will happen. So you want to be frugal with your use of these things, because they can come back to bite you. And for the last thing that I'm gonna go over is like recoveries. Something that a lot of lower levels do when they land. Well, like that was actually a bad presentation. When they land, they don't hold power slide. So if you're coming in on a wonky angle, your car just immediately stops. And most people are holding down forward with gas. And so that just combines not very well. Like, I can't even count the amount of times that I've landed super wonky while just holding like a bunch of buttons, and I just immediately spun out. So what you want to do instead is when you're landing, obviously use air roll to keep your car parallel with the ground and not like this. You know, you don't want to land like that. You want to hold power slide. Why am I losing my knees? Oh my god. You want to hold power slide. So any like wonky landings won't spin you out. And this is really, really important. I used to overlook this. I think a lot of people did, especially at lower levels. That just doesn't really like come to mind, I guess. It's not something that people think about. But it makes a huge difference in maintaining momentum, because once you are still in this game, you're kind of screwed at that point. So always having some momentum in some direction is going to keep you alive and make sure that you don't get balled on or dribbled on. That's the same thing. I'd say air dribbled. It's just, it helps in your general gameplay and why it's so useful. Like, they're so basic, but because they're basic, that makes them useful. So last reminder before this video ends, do these in free play. Do them a lot. When you're flipping and going for the ball, remember to twerk flip. When the ball goes flying past you, come on, flying, ball, please, thank you. The ball goes flying, you're like, oh no, the ball's behind me. And then half flip, and then go after. Like, obviously, if you don't have Fonte's mod or any mod and you want a PC, you can still do these things. I'm just using that as a way to show the ball flying, because I don't feel like doing it. I'm trying to hit those main corners. Also, sorry if my speech is like completely incoherent. I woke up about like an hour and 20 minutes ago, and apparently the sleepiness hasn't worn off yet. But whatever. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh Lord. Oh yeah, repetition. It's all about repetition. Realistically, you'll probably get all of these down within like a week if you consistently do it. That's the thing. You got to stay consistent with these. So then they become second nature, and you do them very consistently, and you don't mess up. I still mess up sometimes, so I guess I need to take my own advice and do these more. Or it's just because I'm bad. Who knows? So that's all for this probably very long tutorial. Um, I hope this helped. If any of you need any more explanations, you can just comment down below or somehow message me on Discord or the Xbox app if you're on Xbox or anything. So leave your comments down below of what you guys want a tutorial of. If you want separate videos for these, going more in depth. This is just kind of like a generalized thing, but I hope I gave enough coherent information that helps you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.